Hello and welcome to our webinar hosted by Ledu Partners. For those of you who've been on our webinars in the past, I want to say welcome back. And for all you newcomers, it's nice to virtually meet you. And thank you for giving us some time today to see the ultimate of all comparisons. Now, I'm not talking about Coke versus Pepsi or even left Twix versus right Twix. It's time for the CRM showdown of Salesforce versus Microsoft Dynamics 365. My name is Chad Collette. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Ledu Partners. We're a business and technology consulting company who partners with organizations to transform sales, marketing, and customer service operations and processes that are supported by core technologies, including customer relationship management or CRM and marketing automation. Ledu Partners is a Microsoft Gold partner and a Salesforce Silver partner, so we know about these products very, very well. Now, before I introduce our presenter, I have just a couple of quick housekeeping items to cover. First off, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand after the live session is complete. All attendees will receive a follow-up email from me after the webinar is complete with a link to access the presentation. We encourage you to share this within your company and also your professional network. There's a lot of good information you're going to get today. Now, to ensure the best audio quality, we have everybody on listen-only mode. But if you have a question or a comment, please submit those in the question pane of our GoToWebinar control panel. And we'll definitely follow up with you after the event. Now that we have all those details out of the way, it's time to ring the bell and introduce our ringmaster, who will be demonstrating how these two CRM heavyweight champions compare. I'm super pumped to introduce Tom Lemeron, a pre-sales technical engineer with Ledu Partners. Tom is a Microsoft certified pro as well as a Salesforce certified administrator and Force.com developer. Tom's got a decade worth of experience in CRM environments and loves CRM because it's really the MacGyver of application platforms, always evolving and can be used for almost anything. Tom, thanks for joining us today.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Chad. I appreciate that lively introduction. I feel like I'm at I'm front side or front court or front ring on a boxing match here. But anyways, what we want to be, going into today is exactly what Chad mentioned, Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce. So I'm going to be taking a little bit unique stance on this. So what I'm going to be doing here is that I'm actually going to be showing you day in the life scenarios. So we're going to be focusing today on sales. And I know we have done previous webinars where we kind of walk through, the navigation and walk through how you do, here's three things you do in one, and then here's three things that you do in the other, and just kind of compare it that way. I want to take a little bit different spin on it during this webinar. So I'm not going to be going in there and showing you how to do the navigation between the different areas and things like that. But what you're going to see is that through this webinar, you're actually going to see how we feel people use it day to day, and not how we feel people use it, how we see our customers use it day to day. So these are the three scenarios that we're going to be looking at. And so we're going to be looking at the salesperson preparing for a week. We're going to be looking at the salesperson getting ready for their on-site meeting, maybe sitting in the lobby, sitting in their car, sitting at the airport waiting to get picked up, wherever they are. We'll be looking at that. And then we'll come back and say, what's a sales manager's role? So maybe they have a sales team meeting every week or every month, and kind of walk through that. What I'm going to be doing during this demonstration is that I'm going to be switching between the platforms. So I'm going to say, okay, this is how a salesperson prepares for the week in Dynamics 365. I'll walk through the different areas, and then I'll go into and say, this is how a salesperson does it in Salesforce. So that is how this webinar is going to be. Again, because of the time that we have and because of the extensive amount of capabilities that are inside of Dynamics 365 and Salesforce, we are exclusively focusing on sales inside of this demo. But again, as we mentioned, this can be used for service. This can have, analytics inside of there. We'll show you some of the stuff that's around around the sales side here. But again, we're really going to be just focusing on these scenarios. And with all fights, we got to have some rules here. So what are the rules for these comparisons? Because, one could bulk up and the other one cannot bulk up. So here are the rules that we have set for this comparison. We are only using out-of-the-box functionality for this. So I can tell you that in both environments, I have not gone in there and did any customization, did anything like that. I could turn on some features, some out-of-the-box features to show you some different things, but I didn't go in there and do any special coding or anything like that. So I wanted to let you know that. I also wanted to let you know that there's no third-party add-ons. So what that means is that both Microsoft Dynamics and Salesforce, they both have app stores. They both have stuff inside of their environments that you can turn on. They both have apps that are additional apps that you can purchase outside of, the standard licenses. Those are not turned on for this comparison. So what I do want to tell you is that I am using Dynamics 365 for sales, and then I'm using the Salesforce Sales Cloud as the demonstration environments today. And I'm going to say standard roles and security and everything like that. So what I will say is that sometimes some stuff sneaks in here or there, but I will not focus on that. If you see a word that you say, that looks like a third-party vendor or something, I am not going to be seeing it. If it's still in there, I apologize. But if you have any questions about that, what's in the standard release, please ask us, and we will, again, answer those questions after the webinar is completed. All right, and then the last thing is that what I want you to know is that there is demo data in here. So I apologize if some of the dates don't make sense. I wasn't able to go in there and change everything, but we really want to make sure that our records, our dashboards, and our views all look pretty. So we are, we're using demo data. So there's the rules. There's what, we have how they're going to be comparing each other. And now here's the rules for the comparison. So without further ado, let's jump right into the demo. So during this time, I am actually going to be converting or switching between my mobile device, which is an iPad, and then my client device, which I'm going to be doing everything through Chrome in this. So with that being said, is that sometimes I may be switching back and forth, so it might take me a few seconds to kind of switch back and forth, but that's what I'm going to be doing with my compares, during this time. All right, so the first contender that's up right now is going to be Dynamics 365. So let me bring this up. So this is, like I mentioned, using this through Chrome. I'm going to be preparing. Pretend I'm a salesperson preparing for my role, preparing for my week, and I want to see how I'm doing, where I'm at, and what I need to be focusing on right now. So I'm going to be looking at this. So I opened up my CRM and I'm looking at the dashboards right now. I can look at how healthy I can look at my pipeline. I can look at my, my leads and, how am I looking at different opportunities and my customers. I also want to see, what else, what do I have to be looking at today or this week? What's on kind of my agenda? What should I be, looking at here? So I'm just looking at through some of these things, and actually this relationship assistant right here can help me look at some of the items that, I have some opportunities that are coming up that I need to be looking at. Oh, I have a past due opportunity. I need to take a look at that to make sure that, again, I'm working on that. But I'm going to look at this past due opportunity right now just because I want to make sure that, I'm not overly, missing out on something on this one. All right, so that close date is on here. Oh, consolidated messenger. All right, you know what? I actually talked to them already, so I'm just going to go into here, and their close date, they're not going to be doing it today, so they're not going to be doing it this month at all. So I'm going to push this out to, the 15th, just so that, it gets off of my item here, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm going to go back to my dashboards now and just take a look at some items. All right, I need to look at some of the leads. I need to get, notice I only have 3 things. My pipeline is a little short right now, so I'm going to go and look at my leads. I'm going to open up my leads area, kind of look at some of these leads. All right, I got some hot leads coming in from my awesome marketing department over there. So Chad Collette and company has been working their tail off to get me some hot leads here. So I'm going to open up one of these leads. I'm going to open up Patrick right now. Look at these leads, and all right, I'm in the qualify stage right now. It looks like it's been out there for a little bit. I'm going to open up this qualify stage and let's see what I have set up already. All right, I need to go and, you know what, I believe that they are individual. I've not identified a decision maker for this yet. But you know what, I know who they are, so I'm going to say, yep, I have identified that decision maker, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add this decision maker over here, and his name is Tom. I'm going to open up Tom, and I'm going to say that, you know what, he is a decision maker on here. All right, so now I have that set up. So I'm going to actually say, I'm going to set up some time to go and talk to Patrick over there, and I want to take a look at, you know, how Patrick is doing. So right now I want to go and look at my calendar. I want to see how I'm doing on my calendar pieces. So I'm actually going to bring up, my calendar right here. And all right, I guess I missed something already, so I'm going to just snooze that for later. All right, so now I'm going to go over here and look at my calendar, and wow, I have a pretty open calendar. I should need to be scheduling some appointments on here. So I'm going to go and look at, you know, the 12th, and I'm going to create a new appointment on here. And you know what? Follow up with new lead. And as I'm going through here, I'm going to say, you know what? I want to put this right into Dynamics. So I'm going to click on here and open up my Dynamics area. And let me see, who are the people that I want to be required on here? I want to say T. Lemerond needs to be required on this. And notice it already shows that Tom Lemerond is in there. But I'm going to set this to, let me see, 3D printers. Let's see what's out there for 3D printers. 3D printers. All right, so I'm going to link it up to that. I'm going to regard it to that one. So now I have it linked to my opportunity inside of Dynamics, and I can just say, you know, follow up on the 3D printers. All right, and then I can just send that over there. Perfect. So now that has been scheduled. I have linked it back. I'm going to go back into my inbox right here, look at some of the emails that I have received. And I looked at, oh, you know what? Here are some specs for, you know, here's some specs for a new project coming up. All right, I'm going to link this into my Dynamics environment here, and notice again, same person, Tom Lemerond, but I'm gonna regard this against an actual account that I'm looking at. So I'm going to look at City. All right, so City Power and Light looks like a good account that I'm going to be linking to that. Alrighty, so now I have that linked, and now it's what they call tracked in CRM. So I pretty much have done, you know, everything I need to do right now within my Outlook. If I need to send, you know what, if I want to send a new email out, same thing. And I'll just keep using the same person because, again, I know that for this demo, I know they're in my system. But if I want to put this into CRM, then I can just go into here and click on my Dynamics. You know, it goes into here, finds Tom. If I need to do some additional items against Tom, I'm able to do that. Oh, I have a meeting coming up that I'm going to be late for in a little bit if I don't head out soon, but I'm going to snooze over that. So I'm going to link this to Tom right here. Yep, I'm going to set this to Tom. Good. All right. And then I also want to add another activity onto here. So I'm going to add a follow-up task on here that I just want to make sure that, you know what, after this, I need to determine, you know, let me see, determine, my bad typing here, determine product specs. All right, and then I'll put a due date on here of, you know what, I'll just do this the 15th. That's fine. Save this. All right, so now I have a new task associated to this email that I'm going to be sending out. So I'm just going to call this test, and I'm going to hit send on here. All right, perfect. So now I have done what I normally do in my day-to-day. I'm going to go back into my Dynamics environment now, and I'm going to go back to my dashboards and, you know, just kind of take a look at some of my leads, or sorry, some of my opportunities. So I'm going to dive into my opportunities here and look at some of these. So here's that 3D printer one that I was just looking at before. All right, actually, I'm going to go in and just start looking at some of my opportunities. And one of the opportunities that I've been working with a long time is that I'm going to go and look for City, because City Power and Light has been an area that I've been working on a lot lately. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go look at this opportunity and just kind of see where I'm at, because I believe this is where, okay, let's see, I have a task to follow up on it. I have an appointment. All right, that's the appointment I need to be getting off to. But at least now I can just kind of see where I'm looking at. Let me look at what I need to do during this phase. All right, the proposal, I need to talk to them about that. All right, perfect. Now I kind of know what I need to do, for this meeting coming up. But you know what? It's a pretty hectic time, so I'm going to actually head out right now, and I'm going to jump in the car, and I'm going to head over there. So as I'm doing that, I'm actually going to convert over to my iPad here. So let me convert over to my iPad right now as I'm traveling over there. Okay, hold on. Let me bring my iPad onto the screen here. All right. Bring this up right here. Gotta love live demos sometimes when you're trying to sync the AirPlay between your iPad and your screens here. So please bear with me just a second here as I bring this up. All right. All right, so now what I have is that I have my iPad sitting right here. So here's my iPad, and I'm going to go into this, and like I mentioned, I'm going into City. So again, I can have my dashboards and things if I want to look at that, but that's not what I'm interested in right now. I'm going to go into City right now because City is the one who I'm going to be going to see right now. So I'm going to go into here and look at City. All right. So this brings up my leads and everything that I'm looking at. So I'm going to go into my accounts for City, and I just want to see what's happening here. I want to make sure I'm not walking into a hornet's nest at all or anything, any issues that are there. And I can see right here on my timeline some new activities that people have been talking about, some activities that I missed that are past due. So I want to take a look at some of these things just to make sure that, again, I'm not going into I'm not walking into a hornet's nest on here, and I pushed the wrong button on my iPad, and I do that sometimes. But let me bring this back up right here. Let me bring up this account again here on my iPad. And so again, here's that City Power and Light account, and I'm just looking at this timeline that is on here. And what I want to see through this timeline is that, again, I want to see anything that's happened recently, so to make sure I'm not walking into anything. So I want to see what's past due on there. So I'm going to select the past due one and show what the past due is. All right, so talk to Lisa about additional services. All right, you know what? I believe that has occurred already, so I'm fine with that. Let's see what some of these new activities are to see what people have been looking at. So follow-up, project updates. So I got an email coming back for some specs, and I reviewed that email already. So, okay, perfect. Well, this is everything I need to see. Now I want to go and see, any of the related information that is specific to this email, to this account. So look at contacts, my opportunities. The C6376 is one of me looking at. See if there's any. There's an active one. So we actually have a defective piece. All right, I'll have to make sure I talk to them about that. Make sure that there's not any issues with that further. But I'm going to look at my opportunity right here. Just get a little bit familiarized again with what this opportunity looks like. And all right, any of the information. All right, following up. Yep, that's what I'm doing right now. Let's just see what I need to complete in this area. So I still need to talk about, the proposal and doing those things. All right, perfect. Well, now I feel at least prepared for my meeting. Let me just go back into one more thing, and let me just open up the case information on here, and let me just make sure that there's nothing from a case perspective that, that it's going to cause me some issues. But actually, instead of scrolling all the way down here, what I'm going to do is go to my related area right here, go to my related tab, And I'm going to look at, what's related from a cases standpoint. And now this will give me a list of all my cases that have been happening. And I'll just look at this defect item case just to get some, additional information about what's happening here. All right, I see it's a delivery issue, and I can read up on some of the pieces here. All right, perfect. Well, now I'm at least up to date on what I need to be doing, and now I don't have any surprises on how I'm going to be going into the meeting. I can talk to him about what I want to talk to him about. I can ask him about the case. I can be proactive instead of reactive on that. And now I'm able to, pretty much talk to them and everything. But now what's going to happen is that I go into the meeting, I talk to them, and I'm like, all right, now I want to come into here and I want to actually, document my meeting here. So I'm just going to go into here and I'm just going to put in a note, and actually I'm just going to do a note from right here and just say meeting notes on here. All right, and my spelling is horrible. Here are the notes, and again, I can use my voice to text on here, using this little icon down here. But that's it. So now I have my meeting, I prepared for it, and now I've documented it. So I did everything I needed to do. So that is Dynamics 365. Let's switch over now to what Salesforce has for you and state doing the same scenario. So let me take this to switch back over into Salesforce. All right, I'm gonna switch over here. All right, perfect. So now let me bring up Salesforce. Okay. So now, same exact scenario. Let's see how Salesforce can handle or handles the same exact scenario. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be jumping into Salesforce on here. I'm going to be looking at, again, I'm going to be looking at my dashboards. I'm going to start at my dashboards right now. And just looking at how I'm doing, how my different areas are looking, looks like from my quota, I'm doing pretty well. See my different pipeline. I have my forecasts on here. I can see how I'm doing compared to others at my company. I have a list of my opportunities that are on here. All right, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to kind of drill into this a little bit. And again, I just want to look at my forecasts. And so I'm going to drill into my forecast. And here's an opportunity that I know I'll be working on quickly or shortly here. So I'm going to look at, what I need to be looking at here. So I have this, I'm in the proposal quote stage. Look at some of the things that I should be doing here, giving me some of my guidance on what I should be looking at and what I should be talking about. Okay, again, yep, I need to get the decision makers. All right, let's start, I'll start doing some things on there with that. All right, perfect. And I still need to do my ROI analysis. I have not done that, so I can't check that off just yet. So I will, I'll be looking at that. Let's look at some other information around this. All right, perfect. Okay, some information about the opportunity. Yep. All right, awesome. And what was my timeline? I don't have any timelines on this opportunity, but let me go back into my actual opportunities. I'm just going to bring up my lists and look at some of the stuff I was looking at. Actually, I'm going to go back to my dashboards here. So just bring up this dashboard that I was just looking at and look at some of the other items. All right, perfect. I look to be doing good. Let me just look at my report here on, some of the opportunities that are in there. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm able to do is let's go into my actual leads. I'm going to look at my leads that are associated into here. And again, my great team of Chad Collette and others at the marketing team has given me some great leads. And here's a hot lead that I want to be looking at too. And, again, so, okay, yep, look at the color coordinator. Pretty easy for me to tell what my leads are. So let me jump into here and open up this lead. Oh, it's a 4-badge lead. Holy cow, this is a good one. So they're giving me some action over here on the type of leads I need to be looking at. All right. We had a discovery call coming up for that. All right, perfect. So, now I was able to take a look and just kind of get an understanding on how my leads are, how my opportunities, how my pipeline is going. So now what I'm going to do is, same thing. I'm going to go into here and I want to now start managing how my day-to-day is going through Outlook. So I'm going to go back into my Outlook email right here. And I'm going to go and I'm going to start scheduling, again, I'm going to start scheduling some information or some meetings and stuff so to fill up this calendar. So in my calendar right here and on Monday, I see that, it's going to be a nice sunny day on Monday. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to create a new calendar event. And you know what? I want a follow-up meeting here. Follow-up meeting. And I'm going to go into here and I need to, I need to add a person. So I'm going to add Tom Lemerond again onto here. All right. So I have my piece. It links up to, my person and on here, but I need to search other stuff within Salesforce. So I'm going to search for the opportunity that I was looking at before. So here's my opportunity. Here's some information about the opportunity that is in there. So, okay, I'm just looking at this again, and you know what? I just remember this opportunity is for more than that. And you know what? Instead of going back to Salesforce, I'm just going to do it right here. I'm just going to edit this, and I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to change. I'm going to change my. Well, I have it locked down right here, so I'm just going to change my probability to say that this is going to be 90% right here. So then I'm going to go and save that. But the nice thing is that I'm able to edit this information on here, right from here. I don't have to log back into my different items. And now I have my different areas that it's linked to. All right, perfect. So I have this follow-up meeting. I have it set, follow-up. And now I can go and just send this off. And I have that meeting scheduled now. So now I'm going to go back into my email and look at some emails that are coming in. Oh, here's an email that just got sent out for reaching out to me. So, all right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to jump into my Salesforce environment here. I'm going to see who it links to automatically through the emails. All right, again, the same person, Tom Lemerond, is going there. There's another person that is coming from that if I want to add them as a contact, pretty simple to do that right here. Otherwise, I'm going to, I'm going to actually relate this to the people here. And then, all right, perfect. And then I'm also going to relate it to, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to sync this one up to that same opportunity that we were looking at before. So I'm going to look at that opportunity. All right, perfect. So I'm going to link it up to that opportunity through here. All right. So now that has been attached. Now this email is in there, and so now I can keep going into it. And again, same thing. If I want to create a new email here and send it to the same person, I have the same abilities down here to link this into my Salesforce environment as I'm going into here, and it finds my things, and I can link it appropriately. So this one I'm just going to link into my account. All right, and then let's call this test, and I'm going to send this out. All right, awesome. So now I've been able to go in and look at how I'm doing from an overall perspective in my dashboard. I looked at some specific information, about leads and opportunities inside of my web browser. But now, you know what? I need to jump in my car and head over to the client. So now I'm going to be doing my transition back over to my mobile device now. All right, so I'm going to bring this up now again on my iPad right here, unlock my iPad, bring this up here. All right, so now from here, all right, perfect. So now I'm going to show you my iPad right here. All right, from inside of here, I'm going to look at, I can see some of the things I've been looking at. I can read some news for the different areas that I've been looking at. All right, I'm going to go back into here. And again, I'm going to go and look at my accounts. So look at some of the accounts I've had. And actually, I'm going to search for my accounts. I need Associated Supply. That's who I'm going to go see right now. So I'm going to say Associated, and there's Associated Supply. All right, perfect. So now I'm bringing up the information about associated supply, looking at some of the information about this. I have, the address right here if I need to, if I need to do some mapping from here. But again, I want to go and see if I'm going to be walking into any hornet's nests or anything like that, and just make sure that that everything is looking good. So I'm going to look at this related items, and oh, I see there's one case. Oh, hopefully it's nothing too bad here. So I'm going to look at the cases, look at this, and okay, assembly instruction help. All right, perfect. It was more of a helpful thing, not an issue. So good. I'll just ask them, how that went and how our support team was, so I can follow up on that. But here's the opportunities that I'm going to be looking at, for here, and the one that I'm really going to be pretty much looking for is this one. So just let me get my bearings on here on where we're at and some of the guidance what I need to be looking at. All right, I want to make sure what their budget is, timing's good. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna just see if we can get that moving along. I know that close date is coming up and my probability is pretty low, so I gotta get them moving along here. So that's one of the areas that definitely gonna be talking about through here. All right, I'm gonna go back into my details here. Just take a look at here, see if anybody, nope, okay, no one has posted anything, no one has chatted with me on that information. So okay, good. I feel that I have a pretty good idea on what they are doing, what we're going to be talking about. So let's just say we're in the meeting, we had the meeting, and we're done. So now I'm going to log this call. So I'm going to go into here and select log a call on here. Hopefully going to select log a call. All right. There you go. I'm just going to actually create a post about this instead. So you know what? I can create a post here. I can, do any mentions. I can do, some of my notes on this on here and return. All right. And now I'm going to post that. All right. So now I've documented what my notes have been. I can document, whatever else I need to on here. But now, this gives me a good idea on what I was doing, how I can use the mobile device to go and manage, what I'm looking at, what I need to see quickly, and then just make sure again, like I'm not running into any hornet's nest here. And here we go. So I just wasn't patient enough. Here's the ability for me to log my call on my against the account that I was just working with. So I'm just going to cancel out of here. But that is kind of the day in the life scenarios for for Dynamics and then for Salesforce. So what we did was we showed you how you can prepare within your desktop, how you can prepare within your Outlook, and then how you can go into your mobile device and prepare for that. So now let's jump into how we can look at, the pieces and the different areas that we're looking at once we get into, from a sales meeting or from a sales manager point of view. So now I'm going to switch back over into Dynamics. All right, give me a second here. I'm going to switch this back into Dynamics. Switch this into my dashboards. All right. So now back into, sales management dashboard here. So I'm looking at how they're doing. I'm looking at my pipeline versus forecasted. I'm looking at my sales leadership board, who's doing what. They're doing, pretty good on here. Just seeing how my revenue is by month, how I'm scaling. All right, you know what? Doing pretty good. Well, let's have some conversations. Let's start looking at some of this stuff a little bit more. All right, so now I'm going to look at here, and we're going to go into a sales meeting. So I'm going to look at this and start, diving into some of these actual items. So we're going to look at, Spencer and see what's going on with him. So I'm going to drill into Spencer and just kind of see what Spencer's doing in here. I can select on here to look at just Spencer stuff, and it's filtering right now. But okay, looking at this information, but now I'm going to actually have my sales meeting. So I'm going to jump right into opportunities, and I'm actually going to look at open opportunities here. So jump into open opportunities, and what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to group them by the different people. So I'm going to group them by the owners here. So now we can start walking through this different things, but I'm concerned about opportunities that are closing this month. This is this monthly one, so I'm going to actually edit this date right here, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to say is after 12/1/2017. All right, I'm going to apply this here. All right, perfect. So now we can start talking about opportunities that are happening, during this time. So first we're going to talk to Sanjay, and just, if I need to open up what this opportunity looks like, we can just open this up. We can talk about it a little bit here. We can review the different areas, review the different information that's specific to it. But I'm going to go back into my view of items, and I'm going to regroup that by owner again, and I'm going to filter this again by the date. Whoops, is after, and I'm going to say 12/1/2017. All right. Then through here, as we're talking through here, we're going to say, Sanjay, this is that, this is actually at 50%, and we're going to start changing some of these items here and looking at these different areas. So, okay, I'm going to go back and say, this one's not as good now for SID. So unfortunately, this is down at 50% now, and we're going to switch this from hot. We're going to change this back to warm. So again, I'm able to work with the team directly and start walking through how these different, things look, how we're going to be, working some of these things. I'm going to save these changes so we don't lose any of these changes that we have made. But then I also want to, make sure that they're looking at their leads too. So we can go to the leads area and do the same exact thing. So I want to start looking at, the different leads. So I'm going to look at, all open leads and who's working on what. And the same thing, I can do the same owner integration here, and I can do, is this a hot lead or not? We can switch it to warm, and now we can be managing our leads and talking through the different areas that are there. So this is pretty much the main area that we can do inside of Dynamics 365 with looking at dashboards, drilling into the different dashboards, looking at, bringing up the different areas, talking through the different pieces, and then being able to kind of on a real time walk through our pipeline or walk through our different opportunities or our different leads and make real time changes, throughout these different items. So that is one of the main areas that we see from sales leadership, sales manager, kind of bringing those things up and looking at that information. So now let's go back into this and let's do the same thing, but let's do it on the Salesforce side. So how can Salesforce, what's kind of the tools and the pieces that we can do, inside of Salesforce from a management or leadership area. So I'm going to bring up Salesforce over here. All right, I'm going to go into the dashboard area here. Perfect. And then, all right, let's bring up this dashboard. So now I'm in an executive dashboard inside of Salesforce. So you can see that my team is kicking butt. We're 172%. So maybe our goals were a little lax right now, but I can see where my, what my leaderboards are. I can see how my forecasts are doing on here. I can see my key opportunities, kind of look at my pipeline, being able to look into some of this different information. Okay, deal sizes versus discounts, I'm able to see how they're doing, pretty robust reporting capabilities, so I can see how I'm doing, who I need to be talking to. I need to be talking to Eli. Kendra's doing really well. Eli and Ricky need to step it up a little bit, but we can work with them and see what they're doing. And let's just see, okay, the margin, again, we got to talk to Bill and Eli and make sure that they're stepping it up here. So, okay, let me just look at some of my other areas. All right. Perfect. If I want to, kind of look into here, I'm going to look at my forecast for December, kind of drill into here. All right, so we have 22 opportunities that we're looking at through here, and here's that Greenfields one that we were talking about before. So let's kind of talk about that Greenfields one, and again, look at where we're at on here. We can bring up to see where we're doing what we need to do here some more. All right, and we can have some additional follow-up and questions on that. But what's really important is that, I want to be managing my pipeline. I want to be seeing that people are doing it properly. So I'm actually going to go into opportunities, and I'm going to look at, the opportunity pipeline here. Oops, that's not the view I wanted to look at. So I'm going to look at closing this month. So here are opportunities that are closing this month, and they're in multiple different stages and everything. But you know what? When I'm meeting with my team, I actually like to see a little bit more visual to see, how what they're in the different stages. So I'm going to switch this over to the Kanban view. All right, now I can, now this gives me a little bit better visual on how I'm doing in my different stages, and where they're at and what we're doing on these different items. And again, if I want to be going into here and editing it or changing the owners. But the nice thing is that this integrity systems, I just got done talking to them. Sorry, I didn't move it into the proper one. We're in the proposal place now. We're quoting them. So we're just going to move this over to here, and now, kind of readjust that, look at some of these other ones. And, this one right here, this one I know is not in the qualification stage. We're going to bring this over into the discovery stage. And now, I can sit with my team, and I can, really ensure that their pipeline and, what they're doing here is, it's in the appropriate area, so that our forecasting and everything is being done very well. If I want to go into here and I want to edit, again, edit one of these or change the owner on it and any of these, very simple for me to go into edit here, and, let's just change the probability, and we're going to say this is now at 50%. So I'm just going to save that. All right, that has been saved. So now, again, I can do multiple different things, but I'm going to switch back here to my table view. And all right, perfect. So this one, this one, we need to change this. So I'm going to edit this right through here. So I'm going to say this is going to be 80. All right, so let's switch that to 80, and I'm going to save those changes. All right, perfect. So now we have made sure that, again, from a management perspective, that we were able to see what the overall role was for, through the dashboards. I'm able to go and look at the actual opportunities. I'm able to look at, put it in a nice Kanban to actually make sure that my pipeline is in the proper order. And then I'm able to go and edit, different things based on how the meeting's doing and what we're looking at. So with that was kind of the day in the life scenarios that we had, and comparing both Salesforce and Dynamics 365. I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison from the sales side, and how, again, more on the day in the life scenarios and how real world, kind of activities can occur both through the client, but then also on the web, and then also through Outlook and how that integration works. So with that, I'm actually going to now bring this back into here. And what I want to finish off here on is just letting you know that we have multiple resources here at LedGy Partners. Like Chad mentioned at the beginning, we are a gold partner with Dynamics 365, and we are also a silver partner with Salesforce. But with that, we have many resources that we can be that you can be utilizing. We have our blogs, we have events like this with the webinars, we have case studies out there. We are involved in multiple different user groups all over the country, and for both Dynamics and for Salesforce. But those are just some areas that you can, look for us, find us out, and always, any questions that you have, please submit them directly to Chad. And after this webinar, we will answer those for you. But with that, I want to transfer it back over to Chad, and I thank you for your time today.
Hey Tom, We're going to take most of these questions offline, but there is one that I know you're pretty good on the fly just to talk at a real high
Okay.
level about is kind of the upgrade process comparison between the two platforms.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So what I didn't tell you is that I don't believe I told you the versions I was showing you at. So I was showing you winter 2018 for Salesforce, and I was also showing you what they're calling the July 2017 release for Dynamics 365. What you do for Salesforce is that you know it's coming and it pretty much happens. There's not much that you need to do, not much preparing, planning. It's a pretty smooth process, and then those get upgraded every time a new release comes out. For Dynamics 365, it's similar, but what they do is they actually schedule a date for you to do that. So they set a date for you, and then you know when that date is. You can go through and you can change that date if you want to, but that one kind of gives you a little bit more, I would say kind of, you have to select when you want it to be done. Salesforce is more, they kind of plan when it's going to be done, and then the upgrade just occurs. Now, both of them are pretty smooth upgrades. Again, if there's major features or functionality, those don't automatically turn on. You have to go back in and turn them on in both versions, but they are pretty smooth capabilities from an upgrade perspective.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, Tom. And I want to thank you for all the fantastic information comparison. Obviously, this is just a drop in the bucket. You could spend all day, all week, all month comparing these two giants. So if you have questions, if you want to see another aspect of this, looking for additional information, please watch your inbox for my information. We're going to be sending you a link to the recording of this information. Please feel free to share that. And again, we're here as a resource for you and can really take a deep, deep dive into Salesforce and Dynamics 365 in a way that'll truly fit your organization. Please feel free to visit our website at ledupartners.com for all of our news and events and future webinars. We've also got user groups that feature more insightful tips for both Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. So if you're a current user or looking to get into those, you're also welcome to attend those. I want to thank everybody for joining us today and have a fantastic day. Thank you.
Thank you.